Haley, are you, there we go.
There
There we go.
we go. Everything's been frozen.
Well, it's every little bit. We'll work through this. Like I said, we'll have some, it is live, and that's why we call it Facebook Live. So we'll move and start.
Okay,
let's roll.
I'm
All
going
right.
to go inside where the internet connection.
Pardon? Say again, Haley? All right.
I'm thinking maybe run inside where the internet connection is better. You keep lagging.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes there are some connections issues, and we'll just have to we'll live with it and do our best tonight and adjust them for next week. But for everybody that's logged on, let us say thank you so much for being with us today. We're wanted to try this and have fun, and we'll talk about field trials and talk about dogs and talk about results and all kinds of things. And so welcome to Field Trialing with and Kenny. And so we'll kind of get started here and talk just a little bit about, one of the things that's really out there for us in all over the world, and I think it has impacted field trialing, and that is the coronavirus. It has caused us to postpone some of our trials. It is caused us to, frankly, cancel some of them. So anyway, we're just trying to do all of, do the best we can. We have enjoyed starting back to field trialing this year. And Haley, for those of you who don't know, Haley's a nurse and is on the front lines of all this. So tell us a little bit about, I think, just your experience and what you're, what you kind of deal with day to day for everybody.
Sorry, I want to apologize. Our house has a tin roof and it started raining. So my internet connection, I literally just heard any of this. So, hey guys, I'm Haley. Sorry, Mr. Kenny.
That's all right.
Yeah. But I'm a nurse. I work at our local hospital here I live in Elba, but in Enterprise, Alabama. We have a 29 med-surg bed floor, and I'm part-time, so I get floated to wherever I'm needed. So when I go into work, I basically find out where I'm going. I may work on the COVID floor. I may work on 4th floor, which is where just anyone goes if you get admitted, and then I might get pulled to ICU, and we might have critical COVID patients, or we may just have your regular critical patients. I started off as an LPN and then went and got my RN after I was a waitress for 8 or 9 years. So I worked my way up, and I'm working on my master's right now. So I'm in the FNP program at Chamberlain. So it's a full time around here.
Well, I bet, and you do have a little one to watch after sometimes on it. So
and we're frozen again.
Yep, there we go. Well, as I like to say, welcome to technology, and I'm doing some work back and forth. So anyway, well, I think that is always a challenge. So with all of it for us, so we do certainly appreciate your time and what you do, because we know that is so critical for all of us, and what we're trying to do.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Hang on, I am looking here one more place, but we are live, and some people are not seeing it yet. So I'm not sure about that.
Making one more adjustment, because like I said, we have a tin roof and it's raining.
Oh my, good. All right. Welcome to the world of live. All right.
All right, there we go.
There we go, excellent. Well, hold on. Yes. It says it's live. Yes, and it's showing me live on Facebook. All right. Sorry. Bye. Okay. All right, now moving right along. For all those of you who can see us, I'm always curious how people got started. Haley, how'd you get started field trialing?
So actually, I had never picked up a gun, never hunted, never done any of that until I met Clint 5 years ago now. So I picked up we were in Foley, Alabama at our friend Hayden Brown's, their farm. We were out there shooting. They were running a field trial, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna try. And a quail got away from them and went over there by where they keep an animal. I think it was a horse or cow, something. Anyways, and it was far enough. The animal had went to the barn, and I went over there, and then Clint was like, "Here, see if you can try and shoot it." I was like, "Okay," and I shot the gun. And I killed the bird first try, and I was just ecstatic. And ever since then, I've been hooked. The rest of the evening, they were done with the trial, and I was like, "Okay, we're shooting skeet." And he was like, "Okay," and I tried it, and I was hooked ever since. Then I ran my first nationals that next year. That was 2016 in that March. Up there, I ran the women's for the first time. I didn't have a dog at this time. Clint actually only had Bella and Briggs. We had 2 dogs, and he ran those. And I ran Colonel, who is Andrew Golson's dog, who is a son from Bella, our oldest dog.
Mm-hmm.
And I ran him, and I actually got 9th out of I think it was 19th. And it was my first time. I was ecstatic. I had a good time. Met a bunch of ladies, and we talked. They were so sweet, just like that they'd always known me. I wasn't a newbie. It was just, hey. And I was hooked ever since.
Wonderful. That's cool. Cool. Well, like I said, I'm always curious at how people get into our sport, and so many times I see people that try it for the first time and they do enjoy it. If they love the dogs and they love the competition, they just thrive in it, and they really, really enjoy it. So it is fun. I had bird hunted a long time. I mean, with my father, I grew up with my father, and my brother calls one day and says, "We need to try this field trialing thing." And I said, "No, because I'm not going to go out and be embarrassed, because I know what my dogs will do. They'll go out there and chase birds all over the field for half the day. And so, no, we have to do this. We're going to do this." So I thought, well, I'm going to attempt to keep from embarrassing myself. So I started in July. First trial was in October. These were fun trials. And I worked with my young buck every day, teaching him to whoa and be to stay. And we worked and we worked and we worked. And I remember to this day turning him loose and watching him run out through the field and lock up on point, and he didn't move, and I didn't move, because I thought, I got the wrong dog. I mean, I got somebody else's dog, because he's supposed to jump in and take off, and he didn't. So anyway, it hooked me, to say the least. And we just I've been doing it ever since, and it's fun. And I enjoy the people, but I enjoy the dogs, and of course I certainly enjoy the competition, but more so the dogs than the people and all. So it's amazing how people get into it, and we'll talk more about this a little bit, but I love watching youngsters do it for the first time and get excited about it as well. So with that, I'm going to switch over to kind of some trials we've been doing. I know you all been doing trials last week at Shiloh. Mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago, I had a chance to go up to Dave Trigg's place in Illinois and watch an amateur trial. My brother-in-law has a young amateur pup, and I wanted to go see her run, and we had a blast. It was so much fun. I saw some really nice amateur dogs. Dave Trigg has one, Rick Markham, Larry Reed has a really nice setter, and others. But it was fun to watch all of them work. And as it turned out, they ran 4 amateur trials, and in those 4 amateur trials, I'll look down here just a second. Rick Markham with Ringo won one. Kevin Pixley with Cap won one, and we were so pleased to see Kevin out and shooting, and he looked good, and he was shooting for Don, and so anyway, he looked good. We were just so pleased to see him there. But two that won, Trent Pike, if any of you know, from E-Town. Trent, I think, is 17. He won a trial, and his cousin, Lauren Trout, won another one. And both have really good amateur dogs, and they're not the least, as you might imagine, they're not the least competitive, certainly, in this business, and especially with each other. But it was great fun, and I tell you, we're gonna have to watch these two young men because they're really doing well they're really doing well in the amateur trials as we get started. So now I know you all did Flushing trials last week. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we that's awesome to hear the younger people are getting into it. That's good. I like to see the younger people get into it, and then we just carry it on. I think it kind of gives the older people a little bump to want to do better and step up. But yeah, we ran our first trial this past weekend. Of course, I'm in South Alabama, so it's still hot. That morning we woke up and it felt like a blizzard. Like, let's bundle up, let's go snow skiing. Like, we were so cold.
Oh, wow.
Before lunch, we were wanting tank tops and shorts. Matter of fact, Clint went to the house and put on some shorts. When the boys stripped down to his undershirt and his shorts, I mean, we were hot. But thankfully, our dogs are used to this, so they did well. I unfortunately shot myself out. That was the first dog out with
Mark.
Yeah. Just honestly, I knew it was my fault. My dogs did their part. They always do. It's just if I go to thinking or whatever, then I mess up every time. I was the first dog out with Bella, who is our oldest dog. She's 12. She'll be 13 in February. And she is getting old. She is slowing down, and it's breaking my heart, but she's mama. Like, she knows what to do. I don't have to tell her. I don't even have to use my whistle. She takes me to where the birds are. And wow. She, slow and steady, wins the race. She went right straight to every bird. I never once said, Bella, here, this way, nothing. She took me to each one of those birds, shot, clean, 3-minute run, started my morning off awesome. I was so excited. And all my other runs were great as well that morning. And then after lunch, it got hot, got a little tired. And I got to thinking, and I'm very competitive, especially because I find myself wanting to keep up with the boys and want to prove myself. And I do great until I want to prove myself. And that's my problem is I've got to stop and just have fun and do my best no matter what, because I know that it's fine. It's fun. But we had a good time. I think Clint actually ended up winning, was it first, second, and third?
Oh, wow. Wow.
And then, I know, Cross and Chase are brothers, the Payne brothers. They have, the past 2-3 years kind of started with us, and they are really starting to show out. So are the Thomas brothers, Jonathan and Matthew, that actually work with Clint. Yep. They run trials, and one of them made the top 3 with one of their new dogs in the doubles, and they have really stepped up and showed out, and I'm proud for them. We've had one of our old competitors come back. He had a dog that got ran over, and now he has came back with his daughter. She's I think 11 or 12, and this is her dog, and she is in tune. She wants to learn how to judge. She goes out on every run and mimics a judge, and it's just so fun to see him back in it and them to be enjoying it. And I'm just proud that we have had the competitors that we do, just us here. And we had some people come from Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia. They came down and ran with us. So we ended up having a 21 dog trial here, and it was a good time. We had some good burgers and some fellowship and fun.
Wonderful. Well, the first time I came to Shiloh, John and I got up about 4:30 in the morning, and we left Macon, Georgia, and drove through the dark of West Georgia, East Alabama to come to trial there. So that's cool. Well, I experienced similar things to you this past weekend. We were at Cedar Creek, was our first trial. It was 39 degrees when we drove into the trial field.
Oh my word.
And then it was, I'm telling you, it was cold, but it was wet. And they had green mallow, green grass, and it was a challenge for everybody. We had a great time. Cedar Creek's a great place to run. It was fun. You can see the fields. It's so easy and all. But mine did better than I did. Certainly with all of it. That's what I always say. I tell somebody I feel like the first baseball game of spring training.
That's right.
There was some rust, mostly for me, with all of it. But I really, when I finally got away and got to look at it, I was really pleased with what the dogs did. But we weren't the fastest. We did have one fourth place finish, and I thought that was kind of cool and all. But it was a great time. It was great to see everybody. I think one of the things that we started talking about earlier is just the fact that we can get out, we can keep our distances we're supposed to and all that, but we get to see people, and that's been the fun part for me, is to do that. But yes, I made one run, and thank goodness I put on chaps because it was so wet. I was soaked up to my knees with all of it. So anyway, great fun. Had a blast and all with it. So we're looking forward to this weekend. We're going to Illinois, to Larry Reed's place. They have a 2-day trial. And so we'll see what happens. The hurricane, we're supposed to get rain off the hurricane, so that's probably going to be a little wet again. So,
yeah.
What can I say? Excuse me. So anyhow, well, I know we're moving along, but let's talk about, and this will be one of our regular things we do every week. Let's talk about the points race. And let me tell you how we finished at Cedar Creek too, because that's important. They had 2 amateurs. Jack Hatfield won one, and Hardy Jagers won the other, and Ty Patterson won the Open. So a lot of good dogs. They had 32 dogs in the Open, so it was a really nice trial, and again, a lot of fun. All right, amateur pointing. Dave Trigg with Brody is now in first place, but he's closely followed by one of those young men I told you about early, Trent Pike and Turbo. And then Robert Russell has Rock. And so that's going to be a fun race to watch. And so tell me what we're doing in Flushing.
In Flushing, well, like I said, old Clint. He got first with Briggs, which was our up to Flushing national champion last year. So he got first with Briggs, and second with Valley, which is her daughter. And it's always a competitive race between them two of which one's gonna be the high point, which one he's gonna go for, because they're so close. It's at the very end that he has to just decide. And then Mr. Don, Clint's dad.
Oh wow.
He is old Don. He is stepping up in the game. He's done really well, and but we've only had those 2 trials, so right now it's still up in the air.
It's the races. The races are heating up. It's interesting. I was looking at open pointing, and Brandon Tarquinio and Stella are in first place. And Randy Hilligus has 2 dogs, Holler and Trooper, in second and third. So looks like we're going to have a fun race this year and all. So we'll kind of keep track on all of that. Upcoming trials, I mentioned that I was going to Buck Valley. I know Bama Bird Dogs having a pointing trial. Wiley's Rough on Birds having a pointing trial. And then Hanson Outfitters are doing pointing and flushing this weekend. So will be fun. Certainly will be lots of fun to watch all those and see them. So anyway,
yeah. And it looks like on the Flushing points race, also it looks like Eddie Carbon is leading right now with Thor.
Yeah.
And then next is Eddie with Midas, and Don Hunter with Dakota. Don is fairly new to Flushing. He joined about It hadn't been too long, so he's doing very well for himself. And then Brandon Tarquinio with Izzy's next, and Eddie and Clint. So it's always Eddie, Clint, and Brandon are neck and neck up there up top. So
always a race. So
Always a
gosh,
race.
that'll be fun. That'll be lots of fun. All right, I think this we'll do this one. We plan to do this short. Again, we've a few little wrinkles we'll iron out for next time. But Haley, it's been fun. You know, everybody join us next Thursday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern time on Field Trialing with
Haley
and Kenny. So,
Hey.
all right, thanks everyone. We'll see you at the trial this weekend and see you next week.
I'll see ya.
All right.